Imagine it's 2150 and the world is on the brink of death. Everything on Earth is about to be completely destroyed. Paul W.R.'s Last Journey, a story that will leave you stunned. The whole world is watching the one man who can save them all, but his aim is to disappear. Why a person who has a heart for humanity wants to disappear from the scene? Let's come to know and start the story. The film begins with the voice of a small boy. He is telling his brother that I saw a dream. In the coming time, the resources of the Earth will be completely exhausted, and then a new planet will begin to appear in the sky. It will be a red planet. Mankind will use its energy for 4 years. Then that planet will come so close to the Earth that it will be a danger to the world. Only one person can destroy that planet, but that person disappeared in my dream. All these things of this little boy are not just a dream, but a reality. This is what happened after a while. And now we are shown Paris, which has become a barren and deserted area. That red planet was clearly visible in the sky, and it had come so close to the Earth that it could have destroyed the Earth along with itself. In this desert, we see a frightened Paul, who was running away from something, and he could hear the voice of a small boy. That voice tells him that you have to run. Paul, don't be afraid. Kill the fear completely. Paul looks back and forth, but actually this voice was echoing in his mind. Anyway, he reached a settlement on foot. Since the resources of the Earth have been exhausted, there have been big wars between humans, because of which the government built such cities in some places, around which there were tall walls, so that ordinary people could not enter it. In addition to this, a dangerous military was deployed everywhere. They kept an eye on everything. So the settlement in which Paul had just come, so it was settled near that tall wall. It meant that it was the place of ordinary people, and the army of the government was also present here when Paul came to this settlement, and saw these armed people, so he was trying to hide from them, and in this attempt, he bumps into a man. That man apologizes and Paul trusts him, so he asks, "Can I get some stuff to buy here?" That man takes him to his place. Paul needed a car, and because this story is of the future, so all the cars don't run on tires but fly in the air. This man was a trader, and he sells cars to Paul. While trading, a drone was scanning Paul from the outside, and these small drones are also under the control of the military. Actually, Paul is the last person who can stop the end of the world, and the end of the world is about to happen because that red planet is slowly coming very close to the Earth. If this continues, one day it will crash into the Earth, and everything will be over. Paul's father was a great scientist. 4 years ago, he himself started taking energy from this planet, and when he felt threatened, so he made a plan to destroy this planet. Many people were sent, but no one was able to cross the powerful magnetic field of that planet. Only Paul was the only person who could easily cross this magnetic field. Paul's father, Henry, had sent his son on this mission, but he got lost in the middle of the road. And the real reason was that Paul did not want to destroy that planet because Paul did not consider it just a planet. Paul had some kind of connection with that planet, and he believed that this planet was alive. No one else but Paul believed in these things, and now he is missing. That's why the government is looking for him, and he's the quietest. So after the deal, Paul took that car and started going away from here. Paul always heard the voice of a child. Anyway, the car stops while driving because that merchant had cheated Paul. The power cell of this car was broken, but Paul could not understand this. Just at the same time, that military drone came and confirmed his identity. But Paul has a gun, that's why he immediately destroys that drone. Before it takes the data to the main computer, Paul saw a store some distance away. He takes the car and goes there. This place belonged to a small girl named, and Alma is an important character in this story. Paul tells her his problem. So Alma says that we will have to change the power cell of your car, but it will take time, and if you are lucky, then at least 3 days. Hearing this, Paul says that I don't have that much time, but Alma says that I can't do anything about it. At that time, there was news on TV, in which it was being told that the Americans have made such a rocket which will pass through the magnetic field of this red planet. The name of this rocket is Aurora, and a French astronaut named Elliot will sit in it and go on a mission. Elliot was actually Paul's elder brother, and behind this mission was his father Henry's hand. Knowing this, Paul feels very bad. This mission was about to launch today, so the whole world was watching. As soon as this rocket enters the magnetic field of that planet, Elliot lost all control, and then the footage disappeared. It means that he is no more, and it is possible that the rocket has been completely destroyed. The last hope of humans has also gone. They can't stop this planet, and now the end of the world is near. Everyone used to believe this. Paul is leaving that store disappointed. Before leaving, Alma sells him a smiley. Paul comes out and starts remembering his childhood days, where we know that his mother was very sick and his father wanted to save her. When this planet started to appear, then his father used to say that this planet will cure her. But Paul was different from his childhood and different from his brother. He knew about the future. Strange thoughts came. Things were seen. That's why when his father decided to destroy that planet, then Paul wanted to stop him. He tried to explain to him that if he did this, then everything will end. Paul saw a jungle in his thoughts, and he believed that there is such a jungle in the world. But the truth was that all plants and animals were extinct from the world. And because of this separation of Paul, his brother Elliot disliked him. And now that the last hope of humans has also gone, that is, the Aurora rocket has also also been destroyed. This means that the end of the world is near. All humans were waiting for their death. Alma was remembering her mother. Then she saw Paul's news on TV, and she immediately learned that the person who came here was actually Paul, the last person who can stop the end of the world. That's why she comes out with her gun. Alma's father was standing outside, who tries to apologize to Alma because he mistreated Alma's mother and kept beating her, because of which she left him. Alma hated her father. She doesn't say anything and goes to find Paul. Paul was checking the cars around, that maybe he can get a power cell for his car. Alma comes to him and says, "I know who you are, and I want to come with you." But Paul refuses, says, "Go away from here." After this, we see that two little kids were playing in a deserted area, and then something falls from the sky. These kids went to see him, then a pot fell there, in which there was a human. And soon we also know that this is actually Elliot. That is the person who went into space to destroy that red planet. But it failed. Elliot was brought back, where he meets his father and apologizes to him that he failed. Henry was told that when Elliot reached near that planet, then the magnetic field there changed Elliot's DNA. He was dead for many hours, and somehow he came back to life, as if something helped him. There in that desert, Paul was fixing his car and Alma was keeping an eye on him from a distance. Then the soldiers come to catch Paul, but somehow Paul saves himself from them. In the evening, when Alma returns to her trailer, seeing this her heart breaks that her father has set fire there, in which Alma's everything was burnt. Seeing this, she started crying a lot, but her father didn't care because he was a bad person. The next day, Elliot, Paul's brother, comes here because someone had informed Paul. Elliot wanted to complete his father's unfinished work, that is to send Paul back on the mission, or at least kill him. That day Alma's father was present there, so Elliot asks him. Ever since Elliot has returned, he had some strange powers, like reading people's minds and making them do something. Alma's father didn't have any information about Paul, so Elliot forces him to kill himself. Badly, he kills himself in front of Elliot. And the reason was that Elliot had read his mind and had known that this man is a demon and he has done bad things. Paul was still around. He steals the power cell from Elliot's car, and after seeing his father's death, Alma shouts. She starts running away from there. Elliot doesn't follow her. Instead, he puts a spider-like robot behind her. Seeing Alma crying, Paul makes her sit in the car with him. Alma says, "Take me with you. You will benefit from this. I know that you are running away from those people." Seeing a lonely man, everyone will have a doubt. If I stay with him, then they will think that maybe this is a family. Paul listens to him. Alma says that I am running away from this place because I want to find my mother. And Paul's purpose was to find the forest, which he used to see in his dreams. And he believed that the forest is really somewhere. Every place was looking for Paul, and they had to pass a checkpoint. So instead of Paul, Alma gets in the car, and they pass the checkpoint very cleverly. And then they reach a diner where Paul had to make an important call. That too with an old wired telephone. He wanted to explain something to his father, but he was not ready to listen to Paul. He tells Paul that you come back, son, and complete your mission. Then a soldier comes to catch Paul, with whom Paul fights. But this soldier wears an iron suit, which makes it very difficult to defeat him. He started beating Paul badly. Alma tries to save him. That soldier turns, with which Paul gets a chance, and he attacks the soldier's head. Both immediately come out of there. Alma was very scared. Elliot's spider robot was still following them, which made Elliot know their location. During the journey, Paul tells Alma his story, how he finds out about the future, and many times he tried to explain to his father, but his father never believed him. Another story like this, that's when Adam comes to his mother, and he tells her everything, that he has seen his exact match and has the same mark on his body as him. That's why he asks his mother, "Do I have a twin brother?" And his mother says, "No." And then his mother gets worried and says, "You are always worried, not only yourself but also others." His mother doesn't believe anything. To watch this video, click the link attached with the I button above, and also at the end screen. Back to the story. No one could recognize Paul, so Alma changed his hair color. Elliot followed them to the diner. He asked some questions to the owner of the diner, and when Elliot saw the evil inside him, because this woman had killed her own husband, so Elliot forces her with his power, so that she takes her own life. The woman of the diner killed herself in front of him. Elliot left from there and started following Paul. Paul and Alma were going on a road, and there was lightning in front of them, and a dangerous thunderous noise of dust was increasing. Paul looks back and finds out that someone is following him. Then he sees Elliot's robot spider in his car, whom he wants to kill, and without stopping, they both go into the storm. As soon as the tracking device was destroyed, Elliot couldn't find them, and he gets lost. Paul and Alma take shelter in a building. When they went inside, they found out that this is a theater. In the holographic footage there, he sees all the animals of the earth which are now extinct. Both were very excited about the old world. Alma asks, "Have you ever seen rain?" Paul replies, "Yes, I have seen it once, and the sound of the rain is very peaceful." Then Paul was shown a forest in the footage. This was the same forest whose dreams had come to him as a child, and until now he believed that such a forest really exists, but now he knew there is no such place. He was disappointed, because now there was no hope left for him, because until now Paul felt that his father was wrong and he was right. But now he felt that maybe the dreams he saw were just dreams. Alma tries to encourage him, but Paul gets angry at her, and after a while Elliot came to attack the soldiers. Alma goes to give this news to Paul. Paul says, "Let me think about something," so he brings Alma out as a hostage, which was their plan. But Elliot shoots Alma. Seeing this, Paul ran away for Alma, and Elliot was behind him. Injured Alma makes some changes in the car by which they started flying at a higher altitude, but Elliot comes right in front, by which both the cars collide with each other. They fell from quite a height. These people were injured, but still, they face each other. Elliot was trying to kill Paul with his powers, but along with Elliot, Paul was also hearing Alma's voice, and at the last moment, when he felt that he will kill himself, he kills Elliot. After this, he brings Alma to a safe place, and he starts reading his childhood drawing book, which had his entire future. And this time when the soldiers come to catch him, he surrenders. This time he faces his father. He was ready to go on the mission. In return, he makes a deal for Alma's treatment. A few days later, Paul is alone in a rocket and goes towards the planet. Alma's condition got a little better. She finds Paul's book in her jacket, in which she finds all the drawings of his life and important events. She looks towards the sky, where Paul's rocket was heading towards the planet. Paul believed that this planet was alive and it keeps life on Earth in balance. When we humans try to harm it, it tries to harm us, like now we want to destroy it. So it is moving towards us. Paul went to the magnetic field of that planet. He had a nuclear weapon with him, but after a while, he changes his path. He does not harm that planet and he destroys that rocket in the sky, in which surely he also died. Paul had seen this future a long time ago. Alma cries a lot seeing this on the ground below, but after that a strange thing happened. That planet gradually moved away from the Earth. It means that Paul was right. If humans try to harm this planet, then it will also do the same. So Paul's sacrifice saved humanity, and at the end of the film Paul had drawn Alma in his book in the rain. After a while the rain started. It means that the Earth is getting better again, and this is where the film ends. Have you ever thought that you are in the present, but some glimpses of the past are making you hate the worst situation? And in the sensation of the present, the pressure of death, which is not only of a person but of the whole world, can you put your life on the line for the survival of life as Paul did? Let us know your opinion by commenting. And if this journey through the darkest corners of the future ignited a spark within you, then like and subscribe to the channel.